Since Mazda split with Ford, they've revamped their entire lineup to keep things really fresh and contemporary. Now the Mazda 3 is no different, and it's packed with mod cons galore. Being the Mazda 3, we thought that we'd weigh up 3 good points and 3 bad points. So let's start with the good points as to why you should consider the Mazda 3. Firstly, the styling. Now the styling is really pretty. It's definitely set apart from the rest of the cars on the road. Secondly, the price is right. At $326,300, it's really priced competitively, especially when you consider that you don't need to check any additional options. Then there's the ride. It's got an awesome chassis. It just loves to be thrown around the bends. And it's not that harsh that when cruising it's going to shake out your fillings. So then the bad. Oh, firstly, the 2-litre Astina is only available with an automatic gearbox. And while it's a good gearbox, it's not as sweet as the dual clutch systems that you're going to get in some of your competitors. Then there's the interior. And that is, no, the interior is actually pretty good. So there really isn't any downside to the Mazda 3? Let's just leave those idiots alone. Tell you what to expect from the 2-litre Mazda 3 Astina. It's the top of the range model, and it's got the same Kodo design styling that you're going to get from the rest of the Mazda range at this point in time. The same sort of swooping lines and pinched creases. I'm not too fond of the styling in the sedan. It looks a lot better in the hatchback. But you forget about all of that once you climb inside, because the interior is fantastic. As you would expect from a top-of-the-range model, it's an all-leather affair. Got some red stitching on the seat and the steering wheel and the door cards. There's some carbon effect panels here that can look a little cheap, but they don't look too bad. There's brushed aluminium and some piano black inserts. But the real party piece, the real sense of occasion, comes from the flip-up of the heads-up display unit on the dashboard. Center-mounted tacho with the 2 wings off to the side that display the necessary information. Now there's no gauge for speed, but you've got the heads-up display and you've got a readout in the tachometer that's going to give you a speed in a digital format. And really not bad. Now the infotainment system, and I'm not a fan of these. They look like an afterthought. It looks like they're glued onto the dashboard as some sort of bodge-podge. Looks like you're walking around with an iPad strapped to your forehead. It's a 7-inch touch screen unit, and you've got a very iDrive-like joystick down here at the bottom, but I tell you what, they're running with their own operating system, and that's probably the best thing that they could have done. Got plenty of connectivity as well. Inside the center armrest, you're going to find 2 USB slots, an SD card slot, an auxiliary slot, an auxiliary power outlet as well. All tucked away nicely there. They thought about the smartphone user. And that's great thinking on Mazda's part, especially at the market that they're aiming this car at. The price is right in the ballpark there. It is competitively priced, especially when you consider the spec level. You hardly have to select any additional options to get it in this sort of trim. Add to the fact that you've got a 3-year unlimited kilometer warranty and service plan, and it's right there. It's a great choice. 3-year, hey, there's more 3s for the Mazda 3. Nice. And then there's the ride, which I found quite surprising. I was surprised with the amounts of grip that you're getting from this little Mazda 3. It really is nice and sporty, even though it feels pretty comfortable on the cruise, even on the 18-inch wheels. The chassis is not as stiff as what you'll get from typical Honda or Renault offerings in this price range. It's still comfortable enough to be a cruiser, but it can come alive when you want to throw it around, when you want to be that little bit sporty. Now, while the idiots didn't mention it, the Mazda 3 here is the Astina, which has got a 2-litre 4-cylinder naturally aspirated motor. It's combined with a 6-speed automatic gearbox. And the combination is going to give you 121 kilowatts and 210 newton meters of torque. I'm pleasantly surprised. The mid-range torque gets you up and going very, very quickly. Before you know it, you're on the wrong side of the speed limit, and you really do need to watch it. Shifts are good as well, and they say that combined you're going to get about 5.8 liters per 100. Realistically, you're going to get a little closer to 8. Let me just interrupt myself there quickly and tell you about SkyActiv technology. Now, SkyActiv is Mazda's range of direct injection petrol motors. There's SkyActiv D as well, which is diesel motors. This is SkyActiv G. Now, this allows you to get 121 kilowatts from a naturally aspirated 2-litre motor while keeping decent fuel economy. Skyactiv technology in the gearboxes is said to give you the best of both worlds. Smooth shifts like a continually variable system, but then also quick shifts like a sporty performance model. And I think this is where it's getting it confused. Skyactiv technology in the chassis is said to make it stronger yet lighter, which will explain why it's so much fun to drive. As you were. Now before you go and sign on the dotted line for one of the competitor cars in this segment, swing by Mazda. Do me the favor, swing by and go and drive the 2-litre Astina. Doesn't matter whether it's sedan or hatch, they both offer the same, they're both priced the same. Go and do that, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. It may make your choices a little more difficult. I know it would make mine.